So for anyone who doesn't know, I am rather fond of Tesla as a company, and I think that they make a lot of bold bets that tend to pay off. And obviously, like most of Elon's companies, there are many bets, and only a handful of them ever have to come to fruition because the ones that actually work end up being so incredible. Now, one of the concerns that I have about the recent RoboCab event is how there was basically described this like potential job role of the future of one person or a small company managing a fleet of these self-driving cars.
And I think there'll be an interesting, business model where, like, let's say somebody is an, Uber or Lyft driver today, where they can actually sort of manage a fleet of cars, and like a sort of manage, I don't know, 10, 20 cars, and just sort of, take care of them like a shepherd tends their flock. You have your flock of cars, and you're the shepherd, and you take care of your flock of cars.
And I've been just racking through the numbers in my brain, and I just can't really see how this plays out to be profitable. I have a friend of mine who has a 2019 Prius Prime, and he doesn't really have to even plug in right now, and his cost per mile, I think, is somewhere around 40 cents per mile, which is pretty low. And when you are looking at these robocabs, you're looking at something that let's say it costs $25,000 and it's fully self-driving, and you as a person end up making 30 cents per mile. So let's say it's 40 cents per mile. Tesla's going to take a 10%, 10 cent per mile cut, and you have 30 cents per mile that you're going to make. On $25,000, you have to drive this car for 83,000 miles before it breaks even. And 80,000 miles is about the typical lifetime of a rental car. So I'm basically looking at this thinking, I'm having a hard time understanding where the profitability comes into play for someone who wants to make money off of these self-driving cars as a fleet of them. Not to mention the fact that other people are going to join in on this venture as well. If the market is suddenly flooded with self-driving cars, is there enough demand to keep that price up for the long term? Is there enough demand to really make sure that you, as the shepherd, are making enough money? I'm not convinced that that is the case. I think that more competition, even if it's within the same company, will continue to drive the prices down. And I think it's going to be very difficult for anyone to make a profit from these really low cost self driving cars. Um, Now, that said, I am really excited for these self driving cars. I think if you are looking for a second car, a commuter vehicle, this actually might be a great choice. You don't want any crazy adventures in this car. You just want to get from point A to point B. Maybe you pick one up for yourself, and maybe you just have it drive around to offset the cost of purchasing. So it's very possible that you could buy a car for $25,000, have it earn $12,000, and then you've saved money in the long run just by having it drive around and making money for you. That sounds fantastic. But I do think if you are the type of person that's going into looking to make a profit from these, early on, because there's such high demand, that might actually happen, but you're still competing with all the Model 3s, the Model Ys, the Cybertrucks, etc. Any of those that are self-driving are also competing with you in that same market. Time will tell, but to me, this seems like one of those things that might not be profitable for a business, but it could very well be profitable for a person who just wants to offset the cost of purchasing a little bit.